Lockdown sucks.
Hello, I think we're live now. So I'm just going to be making a video of me making a multi-tracked video. This is typically for musicians and for music teachers who've been who've had to learn a lot of things about making these sort of videos, including, I mean, I've had to learn how to make these kind of videos, but I just thought I'd go through some of the basic processes and just kind of have a go at just making one on the fly. So for recording, I'm just going to be using my phone. For the video editing, I'm going to be using DaVinci Resolve, which is free cross-platform video editing software. If anyone's got any questions, feel free to ask at any particular point, if anyone happens to be watching. All right, so what we're going to start off with is we have written our tune. This is our music. And what we're going to start off with is we've got a piano part, and we're going to be making our guide track, basically. In the kind of tracking phase, we pretty much have get your sheet music or get your music, just know what tune you're going to do. Make a guide track of some variety that could have a click track, that could not have a click track, whatever you want. And then record everything to that guide track. And the main thing is that for when you're recording along to the track, for the microphone to not pick up the original track, but we'll cover that later on. And then once we've done that, we'll go through like the actual video editing phase. So this is kind of like the tracking part, the recording part, if you will. All right, so we're just going to start off. I'm just going to be using my phone to record everything, and we will eventually see what these videos look like, but you'll see the video of me making the videos, if that makes sense. So we're just going to have a go here. And this is going to be, this is going to be the audio we're going to use. I'm just going to use everything off my phone. So yeah, let's have a go. Okay, let's set up. So we're going to do this in landscape, but like the guide track in landscape, but probably everything else in portrait. Okay, let's have a go. Okay, and we might just do another one just because we can. In fact, just as a backup, I'm also going to record the audio onto my computer just in case we need it. So we're going to just do another take. And I'm actually going to count in. So let's get here. So 1, 2. I'm actually going to record that because apparently I wasn't recording. Okay. 1, 2. Okay, there we go. So now I've got our guide track. I'm going to be playing the audio from my computer through these headphones and then recording what I'm going to sing into my phone. So the point is the phone can't hear the guide track. Audio people will probably be going, you're using the wrong kind of headphones for tracking, and they're absolutely right because these are open headphones rather than closed, but they'll be fine for right now. Okay, so we're just going to have a little go, and we're just going to take one, or part one I should say, and we're just going to play here. Okay, 1, 2, and this is the point where I need to make sure I mute from my speakers so that definitely isn't coming through. You'll probably Facebook will probably the video will probably be able to hear what I'm singing along to actually. Let's start that video again. 1, 2. Lockdown sucks. Okay, there we go. So now I've got our guide track, and we'll do that again for the second part. So it's going to be lockdown sucks, that kind of thing. Okay, so let's go. Part 2. Okay, 1, 2. Lockdown sucks. Okay, there we go. Okay, cool. So now I've got our guide track. All right, so those are going to be our two kind of main parts, and then we're going to have lockdown sucks, that kind of thing. So let's have a go. So part 3. Okay, 1, 2. Lockdown sucks. Okay, there we go. So now I've got our guide track. I'm just going to quickly clip that ending part so I don't hear me talking about the guide tracks every single time. We'll get rid of, no, I actually don't care about that. All right, so I'm going to go here and just again. Lockdown sucks. Yeah, that's the part. So let's do the second. So part 4, I guess. Part 4. 1, 2. Lockdown Cool. And then we're going to do part 5. It's going to be, what did I write? Lockdown sucks. That's the one. Okay, cool. So let's have a go at recording that. 1, oh, whoops. 2, 1. Okay. So this is part 5. 1, 2. Lockdown sucks. God, that tuning was awful. We might actually just redo that. But, lockdown. Yeah, we'll just redo that just because it won't take long. Part 5 again. 1, 2. Lockdown sucks. Okay, so we had. So the other ones. Lockdown sucks. Lockdown sucks. That's the other part. Okay, so the final part, part 6. Lockdown sucks. 1, 2. Lockdown sucks. So we have now got our videos onto our computer, which took quite a while. We just had to make sure that it uploaded over to OneDrive or iCloud or Dropbox, because for some reason getting videos from my phone to my PC is actually quite tricky. But anyway, by the by, what we have, and I'll just show you now, is a folder with all the videos. There are actually a couple which we're not going to use, but we're going to work out which ones they are on our way. And so this is DaVinci Resolve, and this is the video editing software that we're going to be using. So we've got ourselves a new project called Lockdown Demo. And what we're going to do is we're going to copy. In fact, we're just going to click and drag, my apologies, click and drag these videos into the project. We're just quickly going to check on a couple of things. So this is going at 24 frames per second, apparently. I'm just going to check that that's true before, I'm just going to check that is the case for these videos. Details. Yeah, these are 24K. Okay, fine. So, so all of these are 24 frames, which is generally something we just want to make sure is okay. And we're going to be doing aiming to be going for video for 1080 resolution. We can see all of these things by clicking on the cog in the bottom right, which is project settings, where it tells us all this kind of stuff. It's good for us to make sure that's all set up properly before we kick off. What we're going to be doing is we're going to be using an assortment of these videos. We're going to be doing these in a new timeline. A timeline is just kind of a collection of videos, pretty much. And this is kind of called Lockdown Demo. Okay, so what we now have is one video track and one audio track, and they've all just been put on there, one after the other. And that's not exactly what we wanted, but that's okay for right now. So what we're going to do is just quickly audition these things.
Lockdown sucks.
Cool. Okay, cool. So it's done them in that order. And
Yes, we had. So the other ones. Lockdown sucks.
Cool. Okay, so this is number 5.
Part 5 again.
Sweet. All right, cool. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be making all of these video channels. So let's because really what we should do is actually audition them and work out what each of them is. We know there's going to be 6 bits of audio, so we're going to immediately 6 videos. So we're going to go right click and we're going to add 6 of them. We're going to do below. The reason we're doing this below is because it means that we can then have videos 1 through 6, and then we've got the keyboard. There will be something of relevance to check on that later on though. Let's just find out this. So we're just going to audition our videos first of all.
And we're just going to, take 1, or part 1 I should say. And we're just going to play here.
Okay, so that's part 1.
Lockdown sucks.
Cool, okay, so in general this is going to be okay. So this is our... Oh, that's really irritating actually. I've messed this up. We've got ourselves 7 videos, but we've actually not got all the audio tracks, so that's irritating. So we're just going to quickly... These are all mono, aren't they?
Sucks.
No, they're all stereo. Okay. So we're just going to go add stereo. Add tracks. Oh, I only hit 1. Oh, that's really, really dumb. Okay, that's fine. So add tracks. Add none. And add 5 more stereo tracks. Cool. And so now what's going to happen is we're going to go through and just align these up. So all of these videos should be on 7 right now. Oh, come on. Come on. Wow, what a complete disaster. Okay, cool. We're actually going to literally start that again. Okay. Oh, is it because I've done something with this? You know what? You know what? It's going so well. We're just going to delete everything. We're going to start again. Okay, so let's do that again. This is actually very, very interesting. This is an interesting disaster, actually, but it's good to do it online. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to take all of our media and we're going to go create new from there. We know there's going to be 7 video tracks and we know there's going to be 7 audio tracks. This doesn't actually matter too much that we know this beforehand, but it's just useful for us to be aware of. Lockdown sucks. Cool. All right. We have a video. And we're just, first of all, we're just going to make sure that we're okay with this. So we're going to move this video up to track 7. Because that's our piano, and then we know we have vocals 1 through 6, and so this is going to be clearer for us to do.
And we're just gonna you'll probably like, and this is the point where I need to make sure I mute from my speakers so that deafening isn't coming through. You'll probably like, Facebook will probably the video will probably be able to hear what I'm singing along to actually. Let's part 1. We're gonna go off. So just.
That's all a massive fail.
Lockdown sucks. Part 2.
Great. So that's going to be part 1. It's going to be part 2.
Part 3. Part 4.
So what we're doing is we're just giving each part its own, each part its own track.
So this is part 5.
I don't think this is successful.
Part 5 again.
Yeah. Okay. We're going to stick with that. Okay. There we go. Cool. All right. So what we have, and it's a little tricky to see, so I'm just going to minimize these things a little, is that we have tracks 1 through 6. And we have them stacked up here. And now what we're going to do is we're going to try and align them properly. So what's the best way of doing this? First of all, we're going to make this video considerably smaller. So this is lovely. So we can take our videos, for example, and then we can just position them wherever we want them to be. We can also do this with clicking and dragging, which is super useful for us. So transform, boop, down. Yeah, sure. Now what we're actually going to do, even though these aren't perfectly in line, we're just going to move them all on top of one another. Now notice one of the interesting things about this is that the piano is on the top. That's because the order of the priorities of the video are actually numerical. So like the fact that track 7 is on the top of the pile, that is the last one we can see. And this, so the version of me that we can see right now is going to be person number 6. So if I move this, then we'll be able to see that because we'll just go and position. Yeah. So we see we are moving this particular version of me. All right, what we're actually going to do now is we're going to go and make sure they're all in line. What you can do loads of different ways of kind of like syncing these things up, using click tracks and whatever, but like this is just kind of a nice, this is basically having done the least preparation and showing you how you can do it. So let's...
Part 6. Okay. Lockdown songs. 2.
Cool. So what we're doing just to kick off with is we're going to do it kind of in reverse order. And we're going to go from part 6 inwards. We've muted all the other parts, so I'm only dealing with the 2 that I want to deal with right now. I don't have a starting point because I was silly when I did it, so we're just going to have to align it by ear. But what we can do is we're going to see the waveform because that's going to help us a considerable amount, especially as most of my friends are going to be musicians. Hilariously, it's not showing up with the waveform. Now it is showing up the waveform. And this is going to make our life like considerably easier. All right, so we know that this part is going to finish roughly, it's going to finish off with this bit, I'm pretty sure. it's going to be lockdown sucks, and that sucks is going to match up to that bit there. So it's going to be something like this.
Lockdown sucks.
Oh, whoops, wrong bit. So the sucks is a bit louder. So yeah, that sucks is like there. Cool. And we just align that up. He says, not moving it by 3. Let's disable snapping. There we go. Cool.
Lockdown sucks.
Cool. Lockdown sucks. That's great. All right, and we're going to keep going. So we've done that for number 6. We can also disable the tracks as well. So we're just going to disable track number 6, and we're going to mute it as well. So here's number 5. And we're going to take a look at number 5. Very, very similar part. So we're just going to drag that by eye.
Lockdown sucks. Okay. So the other ones.
Yeah, cool. And that's just me generally like prattling along about some other stuff. We can also get rid of this while we're here. All right, cool. Okay, and then we're going to move on. So we've done number 6. So let's do number 5. Sorry, we've done number 5. So let's do number 4. Cool. And again, we sort of know that they're all finishing around the same ending. So it'll be something like that, probably. But we're going to find out. So let's unmute that track.
Lockdown sucks. Lockdown sucks.
A little bit late, so we'll drag that a little further forward.
Lockdown sucks.
A little further forward.
Lockdown sucks.
Beautiful. There we go. Cool. And that's going to be in order. So again, we'll mute that and move on to the next one. So then we're on video number 3. And this one is going to be more like... It can get a bit messy when you're in the middle of it, but if you just kind of like take a look. Sorry, if you sort of join halfway through, but when you're actually kind of in it, it makes a little more sense. It's also useful the fact that the audio is linked to the video, and that's going to be super helpful for us.
Lockdown sucks.
All right, sweet. Just quickly, we're just going to check that that even sounds remotely okay. We haven't even tested that.
Lockdown sucks. Lockdown sucks.
Cool, so we immediately notice we've got shed loads of clipping. So luckily for us, there's loads of nice ways we can deal with like making stuff quieter. And the most simple is that we're going to go and just drop everything by 6.
Lockdown sucks. Lockdown sucks.
Sweet. Okay, we're not going to care too much about the videos for right now. Those are going to be in time, but they're just not going to be in the right place. So again, we're going to keep moving. So we're going to go down. So we've disabled video 3. And we're going to unmute audio 2. So we're only dealing with audio 2 now. Again, we're just going to go here. Gonna scroll around it. Fabulous. All right, cool. And here we go.
Lockdown sucks.
Sweet. There's a particularly sketchy B flat, but who cares? It'll be fine for right now. And then here we go. Boom. All right, sweet. And then we really should have soloed that at the same time, but that's by the way. All right, and then the very final one. Apparently, it started a bit late. Oh, sorry. There was more of a head on the video. We didn't do anything late. Scrolling. Come on. Really? That was a hilarious waste of everyone's time, but that's fine.
Lockdown sucks.
Cool, and then we're going to add those 2 just so we can hear them.
Lockdown sucks.
Beautiful, that's lovely. All right, cool, and we're going to drop, again, just prematurely. Just drop that by 6 dB. And now we'll have something which sounds correct.
Lockdown.
Oh, whoops. If you actually remember to unsolo everything.
Lockdown sucks.
Cool. There's a really, really dodgy note here. We'll look into muting that because goodness knows we might find dodgy notes in our recordings that we may or may not want to have quieter. I think it's just
Lockdown. Lockdown socks.
Down.
Lockdown socks. Lockdown socks. Lockdown socks.
Let's say, for example, we wanted to get rid of the B flat, which is in the middle of this. I mean, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it's a B flat. So what we can do is we can just literally edit. I mean, imagine you had like a load of kids or a load of people, then you didn't want to particularly like get rid of the video, but you just wanted to say tactically mute them. Then we can just do that. Or we can just drop like the volume on that particular note. So we'll put that particular note to -12 just because we can.
Lockdown socks.
It's not particularly inspirational, but it's all right. Hello? I managed to just do an incredible zoom out, and I'm not entirely sure how I did that, but that's by the by. All right. What we're actually going to do quickly is we're going to unlink this. Not do that. Basically, we're going to do some adjust. Actually, yeah, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. Sorry, I'm being really, really stupid. Lockdown socks. Yeah, it's lockdown socks. Lockdown socks. I have now been buying myself more lockdown slacks and just general things to be lazy in. All right, cool. And I'm just going to relink those clips. Okay. All right. So what we've got is we have all of the audio starting in the right place. It's all aligned. We've even got a particular note that we don't particularly care for, so we've made that considerably quieter. So now what we're going to do is just go through the arranging of this. So if we've got 6 faces, we'll probably just do like whatever, 1, 2. We might just have like a row of 6 of them, of 6 of me's. We're gonna do this all, and we're just actually gonna mute the audio because luckily for us, it will actually autoplay where the playhead is, but we might not necessarily want that. Okay, so let's actually do some aesthetic things then. Is that the full? That's the full video. Just getting myself sidetracked into other things, but that's by the by. Yeah. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to go through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and we're just going to have them going from left to right. That's all there. Okay, so there's a whole bunch of things which are really, really nice for us to deal with when we're doing this. One thing that I tend to recommend that people do is that when they have their videos like lined up like this, is to actually re-render each of them. So this can be a bit of a faff, but I think it's really, really useful when you deal with like tens of videos, especially because you don't necessarily want them all being like these massive video files. Is it worth showing that now? Okay, so I'm going to show it now. The way that I tend to do it is by making like duplicates. No, you know what? We're going to come back to this. We're going to come back to it. We're actually going to put them in the right place, and then I'll talk about ways that you can make it easier. All right, so first of all, we're just going to enlarge all of these videos as much as we can. Notice they don't necessarily all start the same place, but also our piano itself only starts from like here. Let's unmute that for a second. Yeah, so boom. So we're actually going to start the entire video from here. So luckily, there are like loads of nice key commands for just chopping stuff. So yeah, so that's now trimmed that. Oh yeah, and it's muted.
Lockdown socks.
That kind of thing. All right, so lockdown socks. Right, so we'll just go through 1 through 6. We're going to make all of these half size probably. Might do quarter. So what we can do is we select all of them. In the top right, got a thing called the inspector. Super, super useful for us. We're going to do these all half size. Let's start off with half size. We can do these adjustments. All right. Something that's really, really lovely is that you can then either like, click and drag for the values, or you can actually type them in. If you click in this bottom left thing, which says transform, we can actually just drag them to where we want them to be. So this can be really, really useful for just like quickly checking some things. Now, hilariously, I've got the second one selected, but I can't see it because there's a load of videos on top of it. So we're actually going to work from the top. So we're actually going to go number 6, which is going to be over there. Number 5. Hello. Oh, yeah. Sorry. Number 5 is here. Okay. And then number 4. Yeah, no, that was right. It was just taking a while to render. Notice that videos are just like huge, so they can just be a massive faff. 3. And 2. In fact, that works just fine. Hello? Where are you? You're there, cheeky thing. Come on. I'm actually not entirely sure why this isn't showing a frame. I think it... I think it's something weird to do with the way that I've done a little bit of editing there. But we can at least do this clicky draggy. Okie dokies. Yeah, and so from here, we can basically get our entire choir of people. So now we have this kind of video. You see, so yeah, now if we hit play, this happens. Cool. And we're going to just quickly trim this ending just so it fades to black immediately. Boop. So yeah, so first of all, notice that lags like crazy. Something you can do, there's loads of like playbacky things, but we can just do this at quarter resolution because we don't need to really, like, the image quality doesn't matter as much as performance does. CPU performance, of course. So still not like the best, but at least it works. In general, we can also do like some other things like render caching. Render cache. Oh, I actually have a none. Oh, that's interesting. I didn't realize that. So, really, really, really important thing to do. I actually didn't know. Why is that off? Is the render cache, which is DaVinci Resolve's way of actually like rendering bits of the video in the background so that it will hopefully perform better. This red line should be showing that this is what it hasn't done, and the blue line is what it has done. Lockdown sucks. And immediately we've got like a huge improvement there. So we've got an improvement from doing the render cache and from using the quarter resolution. Just little things that can really help us along the way. Okay, so this is all fab and lovely. We're just gonna be neurotic for a second. We're gonna put all of these to be, I think that was 250. Oh yeah, except for the piano, of course. Because basically now we've kind of got a rough position. It's nice to have them in absolute positions. And honestly, at this point, you can do whatever you want to kind of like slightly like tighten up the angles and stuff like that. So -470. Yeah, you should use like actual like math to work this stuff out. Or not. Yeah, and then we just have our video. So what's really cool is that we then have a timeline which has got that going on. And what we're going to do now is we're actually going to make a new timeline, which is going to be called beginning. In fact, it's going to be called a master. And we can actually put timelines in timelines, which is really, really lovely. And it's so cool. Like, this is such a lovely feature. The fact that it actually renders what the waveform of that entire timeline is going to look like, which I think is nuts. I think is so impressive. Now, what we're going to do now is just going to add some text. So we're just going to add like a bit of text, he says. There we go. Fabulous. Thank you. So it's going to be called Lockdown Sucks Test 1. Boop. So this is in the bottom left. There was, sorry, in fact, it's in the effects library. My apologies. In Toolbox, Titles, we have text. And we're going to chuck that down to being considerably smaller. It can just be useful to deal with multiple tracks. Just like these things can be really helpful for us. Okay, so we'll do that for a second. We'll put on snapping because that'll just help us get these things a bit tighter. Sweet. And then we'll then have the RC overlap. Yeah, so we can actually, even with these timelines and stuff like that, we can still actually have them staggered, which is nuts to me. We might want to do it in different ways, but like this is, you know what? No, we'll do it. We're just going to have all of the Richards show up later on. So we're going to go back into our Lockdown Sucks. We're going to go and we're going to have these things start a bit later. So I really want them to start here. And there we go. So now we have, if we go back to our master. Lockdown sucks. Cool. And then we have our actual video. Lockdown socks. In fact, I'm going to call it Lockdown Socks. And then thanks for watching. And yep, so we now have just our titles. In general, it just you don't have to do these in a separate timeline. But I personally prefer it. It keeps everything in its own categories there. So we have now actually got our video. I'd personally spend a bit more time trying to sort out these as an actual project. Then we'd sort out more of like, you know, the adjustment, but just to show what would go into that, just click one of the videos in the actual like the timeline here, select here, drag that across. In fact, I personally would do it here so it doesn't mess up our y-axis. And then to here, move that across. Yeah, and then here, do that across a little bit like that. You know, you can just fiddle around with this as much as you want. And we're just going to, just to show, because cropping is also super useful for us to be aware of. We're going to take all of our videos and we're just going to crop the bottom. There we go. So like by 88. Yeah, and that just means that there's just a bit more white space. Or black space, I should say. Anyway, cool. So that means that we finish off with the video looking like this. Lockdown sucks. Beautiful. That's a little bit of a tail there. So interestingly, we can do fade outs like on the master, which just blows my mind that we can do. Like, this is an audio fade just on the referenced like timeline of Lockdown Sucks. Like, it's just really impressive to me. Anyway, final part, making the actual project. And my personal preference, so we do Lockdown Socks And again, MP4, H260, H.264. Apparently this frame rate, but I don't think that's true because it should be at 24 because that's what our video was. So I think that's just left over. So just make sure the frame rate is whatever your project was on. Restrict to 8,000. Check that the audio is on because occasionally it isn't and it annoys me a lot. And then we just do that. And we go add to the render queue. Save it there. This should be done momentarily. All right, and then if we take a look here, open file location. Windows Explorer is just opened up on my other screen, and we have, and I'll show you this in VLC. So this is our video. So let's start that. So this is our completed video. This is what we've made. Lockdown sucks. Cool, and that's that. So we have gone through, we've recorded all those parts, and then we've edited them, and we've aligned them, and then we've actually put them into some kind of visually aesthetic way. We've done a little bit of mixing. We've even done a bit of like making particularly bad note quieter. Yeah, and that's that. I hope this has been useful. There's been quite a lot of things covered, and I'd be interested in trying to cobble together something which is slightly more useful because this had itself some moments. Anyway, I hope you have yourself a great time. Let me know if you've got anything else you'd like me to discuss or go over, and have yourself a great time.